Hello and welcome to our podcast today. You're here with Janine and Kevin, and we've been away for a while.
We have. We've been away. You've been away. I'm Kevin. Thank you for reminding me to introduce myself. You've been away.
I have
hunting
been away.
Animals. No, not doing that.
Not hunting animals.
No.
Watching animals.
Watching animals.
Seeking out animals in Kenya.
Nice.
I've had a wonderful experience away. And then I returned.
Yeah.
And we connected again, and then we both got really sick.
We did. I got sicker.
Yeah, okay. I gave you that one.
You did give me that one. I wanted an argument about it, but no. Yeah. I got sick as I want to be. Thank you very much. And anyway, it's gone.
Great.
And
it is great to see you well again, Kevin.
Yeah,
and
thank
you do look well, and you've moved.
I've moved again.
Yes.
But this time I don't feel embarrassed about it. Like, I think I've mentioned this before. My daughter's taken to calling me a nomad, but this time I didn't have to move, but I was offered something that is really nice and suits me, and it's right by the river, and it's almost in the CBD. It's very close.
That's fabulous. Kevin.
Yeah, so I'm really enjoying it.
And it's back to your happy place?
It's my happy place, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really important for people, which just reminds me,
Yes.
we're recording this episode on the podcast today in Wandjuri land.
Oh, we didn't do that.
And we'd like to acknowledge elders past and present.
And emerging.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
All right,
thank
good.
you.
I'm glad we did that. Yeah. So anyway, look, I moved, and I'm not quite settled yet. In fact, far from it. But now that I'm feeling better, I'm enjoying sorting the place out and doing things. And had 2 weeks with everything in, but a lot of it just laying on the floor. And
there is that
walking
when you
around
move.
it. Yeah, it's great. Yesterday I put pictures up.
Okay. Well, I'm on task because
I know.
I want
I can see you want to actually do a podcast. Don't
There's
you?
an idea.
I just want to talk.
There's a thought.
Yeah.
We could do
No,
the podcast.
No, I just want to
I
talk
want to
about
introduce
me.
the topic. Kevin.
Me.
You can introduce the topic.
Oh yeah, I got
You could introduce the topic if you want to.
topic introducing. Topic introducing. Well, I wanted to call it one thing, and we're not going to. We're going to call it. I wanted to call it "Please Like Me."
Well, you can call it whatever you like, but the
It's
topic
actually-
is going to be on people pleasing.
Ah, people pleasing. Yeah. So we had a little break. Discovered that we were using the wrong microphone.
I wasn't going to tell them that.
I know, but I did
Okay.
because I'm not people pleasing. I'm doing exactly as I want to do.
I noticed. It's real annoying.
And then we had to struggle getting the music in.
Oh my God.
So we're doing the editing.
Save me, people.
It's really important that people know all the technical details. That old.
Yeah, it's actually pretty prevalent out there. Yeah.
We just agreed we weren't going to talk about out there. We were going to talk about in here.
Yeah,
Like
but-
inward journey.
Yeah, but my experience, what is me,
Yeah.
says that it's prevalent out there. So that's coming from the inside of me.
You just twisted that.
I made it suit, didn't I?
You did.
But it worked. Anyway, that's what I mean when I'm talking about
We're definitely back, aren't we?
the topic. Yes, we're back.
Yeah, we're back. Okay.
Oh, dear.
Good.
It's been like this all morning, people. Really feel for me. You can
Oh,
feel
just for a moment there, I thought it wasn't recording, but apparently it is.
Oh, gosh. I think we might need to do a do-over.
I like the early versions of the software that we used when it used to show you on the screen.
Do the people need to hear about the software?
But now
Really?
it doesn't show
Really?
you. Really?
Really?
Can I not tell them? They must be so interested.
I think not.
No? Oh. Well,
As long as they get to do their topic.
Yeah.
How about we talk
About?
the topic?
people pleasing.
People pleasing.
So where do you start with people pleasing?
Oh, my God. I actually don't know.
No, see, you were trying to get me to start, weren't you? I know.
Except if you're people pleasing,
Yeah.
then what you're doing is you end up absorbing everybody else's conflict.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't see it like that.
Well, let's give an example. Let me see if I can find one.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I never thought about it like that. That's all.
Yeah, well, it's like you say to me, do you like that cup? And because I was going to buy you some extra cups. And I go, yes, yeah, of course, yeah, I like the cup. And I secretly don't like the cup.
Uh-huh.
What I'm doing is I'm absorbing a conflict, because I'm not saying to you, no, not really, I don't like it. Because what happened, I'm fearful of the conflict. And so what I'm doing is I'm not being my true self, and I'm absorbing what's around so that there is no conflict.
So what I see is different.
Okay.
I see that
there's many ways of viewing it.
I see that there's people pleasing. I say, do you like this cup? Look at this lovely rainbow cup. And you say, yeah, I love that rainbow cup. And it's not true.
Yeah.
So then what I see is that, or my take on it would be, the way that I used to people please would be that's how I do it. I'd be like, yeah, of course I like you. I like the cup. I like whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
But I don't see how that absorbs conflict, because I really don't know what the hell's going on with the other person. All I'm doing is going, so which colour do I have to change to so that I'll match with the colour that you want?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no conflict, though.
No conflict in you?
Oh, well, it's conflict? Is that what I would call it?
Yeah, because
that kind of people pleasing just buries me.
I'm
not there.
That's right. So it absorbs the conflict that you won't have with the person.
Oh, you mean it's a lack of conflict?
Well, it's both, because what happens is that you end up in conflict because you're not going to have the conflict outwardly.
Okay.
Big concept.
Big what?
It's a big concept.
It's a big concept.
Yeah. Because what you're doing is, if I'm not speaking up and you say, do you like this song? And I go, yeah, I do. Oh, yeah, okay. So I'll play more of this type of music and stuff. So it's the same thing. And then you play more of that music that you like. And I'm sitting here going, oh, I really don't like it. But I'm smiling and I'm going, it's fabulous, it's fabulous. So what I'm doing is I'm in internal conflict because I'm pleasing you, keeping you happy.
Okay, I get that now. I thought you meant
but now
both people are in conflict.
No.
Just you.
Just me.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing the people pleasing. And what happens, I'm not serving myself in any way.
Yeah.
I'm not being truly authentic. I'm not being fully who I am as a person. I'm not being Janine.
I learned that it was a good way to get what I wanted.
Tell me more.
Well, in a not very pleasant way, I guess. When I was very young, I would gauge how the mood was, how my father's mood, my mother's mood, my brother's moods were, my sister's mood, or any other family member, so that I could come out of hiding, like literally come out of hiding. And, if I could gauge what the mood was, then I knew how to be.
So how would you please them?
By agreeing with what they said.
Yeah.
But to the extent that would make me invisible, because that's what I'd want.
It was safer to be invisible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have to physically hide, because I'd feel like I was invisible anyway. I was invisible.
Mm.
Yeah.
But that would be a child's plight to do that. And a child will need to play with pleasing and learning about containment and learning about speaking up, and all of those things, I think, are ways of exploring or being with your environment. And sometimes the only way, if there's a high conflict environment or violent environment, then the only way to be is with whatever skill you've got. So it might be people pleasing, absolutely. Yeah. And you would need to do that. But as a grown up,
grown up.
You'd want to think about having a bit more clarity as to who you are. And
I skipped that bit.
Well, otherwise, all your relationships are going to be...
They were transactional.
But they're based on everybody else and not on you.
I became very skilled at manipulating.
Yeah.
And that would be, some direct routes, but it would often be by noting what people wanted and making sure that I was able to give it to them so I could manipulate to get what I wanted, basically.
Yeah.
So it was different from the childhood thing in that it was more aggressive.
Okay,
there was something that I wanted, which was, often kind of money or drugs or something related to that lifestyle that I was living.
Okay.
And
so I guess
it's really hard to give up even when I stopped using drugs.
So I guess we're talking about multiple ways or purposes of people pleasing. When I think about people pleasing, I think about the person who just goes, yes, whatever you want, I don't mind, I'll do it. You're going to spit your coffee again, aren't you?
I nearly did. I also banged the coffee cup down. I'm doing all the things that Janine doesn't like.
Oh, my goodness. Well, please me, will you?
No. There you go. That's what you need to say is no. Do you like this music I'm playing? No. Do you like the coffee cup? No. It's rubbish. So I think we did a podcast about no.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Well, we did.
No is a really useful word.
Yes. I mean, even me saying to you, Kevin, when you put the coffee cup down heavy, it makes the bang. And
it does.
And a few of the other things I've talked to you about, I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mum.
Well, that's a good thing because I don't want to absorb the conflict. I don't want to smile and go, you do whatever you want. That's fine. Right. Bang the cup. I'll just
I didn't even notice I was banging the cup, so it was perfectly all right.
Well, there's that. You could deny that what's occurring is occurring.
I think I did, actually, at one point.
You might have. And in the end, it doesn't matter, but I guess what we're talking about is being honest. And if you denied it, well, I'd go, okay, well, we'll note if it happens again. These are my concerns. And
so that's what it's really about, honesty.
Yeah, it is. It kind of comes
but
back into that.
It's about self-honesty, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think there is something about if you're going to set out to please people, and maybe it's a bit separate from the manipulating people, but to please people, to keep people happy, you're not keeping yourself happy. There's a risk that what will happen is you'll absorb any conflict that could occur because you want the other person to be happy and you're not going to be. I think there's times when it's appropriate not to tell everybody everything. Oh, I really don't like that jacket.
Maybe not necessary. Walking down the street and go, look, I don't like your shoes. It's probably not necessary.
No, maybe not.
No.
Maybe not.
No. Yeah.
But there is a time in amongst, and let's think about those people who are close to you, whether it's your friends, whether it's your partner, whether it's your family members, that it's worth thinking about, are you actually being honest with yourself and therefore them? Because the risk of people pleasing is you're not going to be your authentic self. What do you reckon?
I think sometimes when I think about being really me, even amongst people who I'm close to, I get embarrassed just thinking about it. So I don't know if you call it people pleasing, but it's like example, yeah?
Yeah.
We both liked something on Facebook, which was about the crow and all the, it collects shiny
can I tell
things.
the people?
Yeah.
It's very cool.
It's very, very cool. But the last bit of that is, I can't remember the words now, but making a really big fuss when you see friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a post on Facebook that said, I love the crows.
Yeah, because
I want to be like the crows because crows run around the road picking up shiny things.
That's right.
And then they go up and down the road, not worrying.
Oh, skipping and hopping.
They're skipping and hopping.
Yes.
Regardless of how the day is.
Mm-hmm.
And also when they see their friends, they scream.
That's right. They scream. So it's the last bit. So often when I'm arriving here, for instance, I think I'm going to see Janine, and I'll just be able to greet her and go, and I don't.
Okay.
Inside I do, but outside I don't, and I don't because I don't know, it's like it's maybe partly habit, but it's also like that's not the image that I need to project. You know, these people know me like this, so I need to keep that image. And then there's a big part of me going, "Oh, fuck that." Just be you. If that's what you want to do, then do that.
Let's be honest with the listeners, Kevin. Sometimes we do open the door and go, hello!
Yeah, we did today. Yeah, but anyway, it was just an example. Now you just ruined it.
It's a great example.
It was just an example. So I get that. Takes me all the way back to where I was. I get that sometimes with friends. You know,
I think it's hard to be yourself. I mean,
I think about being myself, and I get embarrassed. And I start telling myself off. I go, no, you don't need to tell myself off. That's me. It's okay.
Yeah. Look, I think there's different parts of us that show ourselves in different arenas. Like there's a group of people that I'm really comfortable to banter and to be foolish with, and that's fun and lively. And I mean, we've had fun with the podcast, Kevin, and you and I are randoming all over the place, and that's been wonderful. I can't do that with everybody. I put on my professional self, and I think I move into that quite easily and well, and I'm comfortable that I'm not absorbing the conflict, but I'm just accessing a different part of me.
Yeah. So anyway, it was kind of...
But you do make a really good point, because I just think sometimes there's a lot of us out there that in times of our life, I think of my early times, then all I did was became or was a colourless person, because it would have been too confronting for me and perhaps anyone else that I was with. So I absorbed it all.
There you go. That's a good explanation. Yeah. Try and damp my spirit down. And my spirit is saying, I don't want to be damped down. We don't need to be damped down.
No.
Yeah. But there are sometimes, you're right, I go into the local supermarket, although that's not even, that could be, I don't want to be all over the place with the people at the checkout.
Oh, I do.
But sometimes I am.
I find that's the best place to be all over the place.
Yeah.
So I don't know, there's a particular brand that I go to that supermarket, and I'm sure that they've been encouraged to talk to the customers.
Okay.
And so they gently say, "How was your day?" Or, "What are you doing
they don't
tonight?"
Say, "How was your day?"
Sometimes they do.
Yep.
Or, "What are you doing tonight? Have you got an eventful night?" And I'll go, "No." But I have really enjoyed yesterday I did my pole dancing, and I'm really sore today, so I'm going to be putting my feet up.
Yeah.
And I say something a bit ridiculous, and they look at me like, "Oh my goodness, you're an interesting thing," or "That's an interesting topic, and you've made my day, you've kind of jolted me into living and listening."
Catapulted them back into life.
Because I just think sometimes those things, "How are you?" "I'm good." "And you good?" "Yeah, I'm good."
Yeah, just good. I'm good. It's all good.
It's great. It's good. Yeah, you good? Are you good?
When I see people at meetings,
I'm not so good.
Yeah,
I'm not real good at all, actually.
And people say to me, "Hi, Kevin, how are you?" And I say, "Yeah, I'm so, whatever it is I am." And I say, "How are you?" And they'll say, yeah, good. I go, "You're a liar." Because it's obvious they're not feeling all good.
They'd love when you come up to them, wouldn't they?
Well, yeah, I get to have some authority in that position. So they depending on who they are and how they are, they might be some pushback, but quite honestly, they'll go, quite often rather, they'll go, oh, yeah, actually, blah, 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 and they start to tell me. I'll find someone else for them to talk to who can tell them what to do next, and I'll wander off. I had somebody phone me. I'd forgotten that I'd left a message for them, but it had been nearly 2 weeks. So they phoned me, and they left a message that was somewhat unusual for them.
Mm.
And it ended with, so I'll talk to you soon then, Kevin. I hope you're well. And, okay. It's like, did I do something? Did I fart last time I saw them?
Possibly.
Possibly. Anyway, I forget it. And I spoke to them the next day, and they were returning my call from 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
Yeah. Why was I telling you that? Yeah, that's why. Because it's like I'd stepped out of
your usual role?
Yeah, my usual role.
Mm.
So here's the square that I see myself in with that person.
Yeah.
And I stepped out of it. And I don't like that. I don't like that I see my life like that. And I think as I'm...
In the usual role or the stepping out? I'm not sure.
Oh, no, I like the stepping out.
Yeah.
I think it's either as I'm getting older, or maybe I'm getting a bit wiser, or maybe it's both of those. I put up with that less and less, and I do more and more of I'll be more and more me. So if I want to walk down the road singing, then I will.
Sounds
and
wonderful.
if I want to open my veranda in my new place and sing, even though I know the people down below walking past will be able to hear me, I will. And those are just little examples, but I'll be me.
That sounds fabulous.
Yeah. So we had a little break. Discovered that we were using the wrong microphone.
I wasn't going to tell them that.
I know, but I did.
Okay.
Because I'm not people pleasing. I'm doing exactly as I want to do.
I noticed. It's real annoying.
And then we had to struggle getting the music in.
Oh my God.
So we're doing the editing.
Save me, people.
It's really important that people know all the technical details. It's got windy. Look how windy it's got.
What I was going to say is that, and you've heard me say this before, it takes a lifetime to find out who you are.
Ah, that's what we were talking about. Yeah, it does.
And
yes.
The thing I wanted to say about that, and it's a little bit where you were going with the last things that you were talking about, is that we've got the privilege of age and, let's hope, wisdom to have worked through some of this stuff, right?
Working through
it. And making a choice to be our authentic selves, if we like that, or if we make that choice, yeah? So I've been thinking about that, and I can remember when I first started to realise that I don't have to people please anymore. I can actually ask myself, what do I want and what's right for me and how will I answer this? It was incredibly liberating. And I remember thinking, wow, I can actually say no to something, or I can say, no, that doesn't really suit me, or I can find a way that feels right for me, but to answer the person honestly and from my perspective.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It doesn't have to threaten their world. So I was really excited about that, realising that I could be assertive. And then what happened is I realised that some people don't like it.
That's right.
They didn't like my opinion. They didn't want to hear me say no. And what I realised is that some people persecute you if you start to have...
But they do that with all kinds of things.
Absolutely.
Like I've discovered that many different things. But with the podcast, so saying to people, hey, you want to listen to the podcast? 6 weeks later, how'd you go? Did you listen to the podcast? Oh, yeah. What did you think of it? Well, it's not my thing. Oh, that's what my friend said, by the way. I just remembered what he said. But it's not my thing, but I guess it's all right. Okay.
It doesn't have to be their thing.
No. Yeah, I know. I've lost where I was going. I think I can overshare with this, like being my authentic self. I told you I'm going to tell everybody
of course.
what I did recently. So I'm on a dating site, but I'm not seriously on a dating site. Occasionally I get a message and whatever. So this lovely person messaged me, and I had a look at her profile and I went, oh, yeah, interesting. So we had a little chat, and then she just said out of the blue, so tell me something about you that I don't know. So I didn't give it much thought. Maybe I should have. And I said, I do a podcast with a friend. She said, oh, yeah, what's it about? And I said, here you go, here's a link. And it's just, that ended that, really. There was a little more to and fro, but that was the end of it.
Well, it sounds like that they will have learnt all about you.
Yeah, but that's the thing. People listening to our podcast don't actually learn about us. They learn bits of us.
Of course.
Yeah.
And really, not everyone's thing isn't going to be listening to podcasts. Some people just...
It should be.
Okay.
I just discovered that
so
we're
all
on
the parts
Amazon.
of Kevin are out today. Here's Yell.
We're on Amazon.
Oh, my God.
I accidentally discovered it the other day. Our podcast is on Amazon. I went, wow, our podcast is on Amazon. I feel quite proud. Then I went, yeah, nobody's listening to it, though.
I know. It means shit if no one's listening to it.
Well, sorry, you guys are listening to it, yeah.
And I am grateful.
Yeah, me too.
Well, either way, we're going to have this chat and we're going to do this podcast because it is around enjoying the whole process and learning and being our authentic self.
That's how we started.
Yeah. Because we're not out to please them.
No, we were sitting downstairs in your office and you were, for the second
I don't want to please them. They're the listeners. Who cares what happens for them?
No. Well, for the second or third time you mentioned doing a podcast and I got you drew you out to tell me a bit more about what had happened and why you weren't doing it and what you were wanting to do. And I just simply said, I do it. And planted the seed. And then, and so we started doing it sometime later. But we do it because we want to do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we turn up here and...
So it's not about them. It's about us.
Well, bugger that.
We don't care. We don't care about you. We don't care about you out there.
Wait, hang on a second. Actually, she's right.
It's a bit rude. It's quite rude.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I think what I'm loving about this conversation is really starting to explore, and hopefully our listeners are starting to think about, am I actually answering this question, whether it's a question that someone offers you or a conversation that you're having where you get to answer the person how you want and how you're really feeling or thinking in the moment. And it's maybe not what they want to hear. And you're going to say it anyway because it's for them to resolve, not for you to absorb.
True. And also, I would add to that, not doing things and going places to please somebody else. So I found myself really thinking about it, when I'm like, okay, so I better find some socks to put on when I'm going out. Hang on a second. Do I want to go? Sometimes the answer is no, I don't. But here's the reason why I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And sometimes the answer is, yep, I do want to go. And sometimes the answer is just no.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm not going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I will want to go or I'd want something to happen or I'll say yes because my core concern is the care for the other person. And so that will trump what's actually happening for me. And that I'm okay with.
Yeah.
That I choose.
Yeah, that's
and that feels like a choice around caring for the other person.
Yeah.
It might deny me somewhat, but I'm okay with that. But that still feels like an active choice around caring for the person rather than absorbing what's happening for them and I better go and care for them.
No, that's different. Yeah, that's people pleasing.
Yeah.
So I went with a friend not that long ago, a few days ago, to see Eric Idle. You know who Eric Idle is?
No, I don't.
Eric Idle is one of the co-creators of, well, they were all creators, but he was part of Monty Python.
Oh.
The Life of Brian, all that kind of stuff. And so he must be older than me, he must be in his 80s. So he was on at Hamer Hall, and we had seats there. It was really good. But the way that he did it, I guess partly because of his age, I mean, he survived cancer and all sorts of things, was that it was just him, and he had what he called a virtual band. This band, it was all set up, so there's a huge screen behind him, and occasionally he'd do something with the band playing, and he'd be playing a guitar. He did a lot of his show, and it was a couple of hours, more than 2 hours, with a break in the middle, just like normal theatre type stuff. He did a lot of it with just clips from the things that they'd done, and then clips from his personal life, and I knew that he was a friend of George Harrison's, although they were friends, but I didn't realise how close they were. So a lot of it, as time went on in the performance, a lot of it was him talking about George Harrison just before he died and his relationship with George Harrison. And I know what this has got to do with him.
Yeah, I was going, and the story is relevant because of choices. He makes a choice to travel the world doing that. And talk about the bits that he wants to talk about. Like, I think a lot of people there would have been expecting a lot more talk about Monty Python. There was a lot of talk about The Life of Brian, which was only, EMI were going to fund it. And then when the head of EMI read the script and it was, in his words, blasphemous, they withdrew the funding. And George Harrison mortgaged his house, sold some other things so that they could raise enough money to do the movie. I loved George Harrison's, was asked by someone interviewed him and said, so what motivated you to, mortgage your house and sell all this other stuff? Why did you do that? Because I wanted to see the movie. So a lot of, so it's like, you and I often talk about choices, so it seemed to me, looking as just a member of the theatre, looking down at him and thinking back to all the stuff that he'd done, and being reminded of it, seeing him on the screen, on this big screen, and he's talking about what they're doing. And it seemed to me that he could do that show in a number of ways, and he'd chosen to do it in a way that was really personal to him. So no apology to everybody watching. And no pleasing of all the individuals. And so it sounds like he had to absorb not only just some people's rejections, but just the risk that this wasn't going to happen the way he wanted it to. And I think that's part of what this discussion's about today, is risking the rejection from people, because what's happening is when you start speaking up and saying what you want and how you want it, it's not going to fit with everybody.
You said that earlier, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
People react in all sorts of ways. I would expect people to react like, I don't like that, I don't like you anymore. But they don't. They react in quite silent ways as well. It's like you're at one of those humps in the road and they sort of go round you. And my reaction to that is one of two. It's like, hey, come back here. Or, oh, I feel invisible.
Yeah. That's the thing I said when I started to become assertive. What I found is that people didn't like it, and they do the grunting thing, or they go, what are you doing that for? Or there'd be something to push you back into the old way. And the really tough stuff is finding a way to help yourself stand and keep staying with your true self, or keep saying the no, or whatever it is, which is some of the toughest stuff to do, I think.
Do you know what I do?
Quite liberating when you get to this age.
I go back. So I'll give you an example, one very fresh in my mind, somebody talking about the recent USA election. Everybody's been talking about it. So.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah, that thing. So, and a friend of mine said, I don't think it's such a bad idea. I said, what do you mean? Trump getting in? I said, yeah, you're joking, aren't you? They go, yeah, well, I don't know that it makes much difference, really. And they went on and on and on. And I thought, I'm not going to agree with that. But I was tempted. to join in, but I didn't. And there was an invitation, and I still didn't. And then the conversation finished, and a couple of hours later, I was with them again, and I said, look, I totally disagree with you. And this is why I disagree. It doesn't matter why I disagreed.
Yeah.
And they just went, oh, yeah, I think you're probably right.
Oh, how lovely.
Well, yeah, or is it? Are they just pleasing me?
They may be.
But that's not my...
But what was lovely about that, I really liked, is that you took space. In the heat of the moment, you didn't voice yourself, because maybe it sounded like you measured what was going to come back at you, and you took some space. And then at another quieter time, you spoke gently for yourself, going, actually...
Yeah.
I don't agree with any of that. And you were able to say it in a calm, supportive way of yourself. And then the person sounds like they were able to receive it. So whether they agreed with it or not becomes irrelevant.
Yeah.
But the main thing for me is that time and space, because sometimes you're talking with people that are quite reactive, and I will sometimes, that's when I use the timeout thing, where I'll go, I'm going to think about that. Because I'm going to either calm my reactions or theirs, and then I'm going to come back and tell them what I really think.
I can remember learning all about that, like my sponsor in NA telling me, saying to him, just go for a walk. Go for a walk around the block. I'd say to him, and then what? He said, go for another walk around the block until you feel a bit calmer. Keep walking around the block. And then working with you, the timeout thing, and other parts of other friends and things watching. Basically finding out who I am and how I want to deal with things. And now that's a typical thing with me. I go, I don't know about this, or I do know about it, but I feel like I'm being invited into an argument, which I don't want. So I won't say anything.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it takes a while for us, people to really think about, what is my opinion here? What is the response that I want to give here? Because I'm really not sure what it is. So if I have a space, then I come back and be quite assertive.
Yeah.
And I think that space for me is the breath, where I go, and just not take on any conflict, but go, what do you want to do with this now, Janine? And then I come back in. And then I can go, nah, don't agree. Really don't like what you're saying. I'm not really sure about that in these ways, but this is what I think. And I've been able to come back quite assertively, and that feels like a good representation of me. It's not confronting, I hope. Well, sometimes it can be for the other person, but I'm going to say it in a way that supports me and supports them, as then it doesn't hold a threat or anything else.
And it's not going to start an argument. It's not an argument. This is just like, this is my view.
Yeah. They might start the argument, but I don't have to jump in. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it's about this time in our podcast where I can ask those people who are listening if they've got a bicycle. I'm looking for a bicycle. It's not that ad break. We can have an ad break here. Kevin looking for bicycle. No, okay.
No, it's not. No, fuck off. No.
You're not allowed to say that.
I can't say shh. I didn't. What are you talking about?
It's me who says that. Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
See, box, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, stay in the box.
Yeah. This has been an interesting chat once again.
Have we finished?
I think it's about the time.
I don't know. I'm just checking here.
It's not that we can't say more, because we can always say more.
Yeah.
And like I've been saying, people, for those of you who've been able to listen to some of our previous podcasts, when I'm talking about conversations, this is a conversation, and often it can be the conversation starter, and there can be many following it. And I look forward to hearing or learning about, or hoping that you have more conversations with those around you.
So what you're really saying is this is just the beginning.
It is.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds good.
Okay.
Right. So what do we do now? Do we have to sing? No?
No, I won't put
more adverts? Or personalised Kevin adverts? No?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Thanks for listening, and we'll welcome you back in again. Sorry for those avid listeners that we haven't been as faithful as we have been able to be in the past.
Or 3.5 of them. Well, that sounds a bit resentful, doesn't it?
It does.
It does, yeah.
Cut that out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I won't. I'll be resentful instead. All right. Thank you for listening.
I hope I've got some compassionate people out there for me. It's building as we're speaking, Kevin.
It's great being listening to me.
Have a great week, and we'll look forward to chatting to you next time. Bye for now.
Bye for now.